What's a gut feeling you trusted that everyone told you was ridiculous? My daughter's bedroom door was locked from the inside and she wasn't answering. I slammed my shoulder into it 3 times before the wood finally splintered around the frame. She was sitting on the floor in the corner, her phone clutched to her chest, mascara streaking down her face in black rivers. She looked up at me and whispered 4 words that made my blood turn to ice. I told you, Mom. I had been telling everyone for 6 months that something was wrong with Coach Brennan. Nobody listened. Lily joined the travel volleyball team last spring. She was 14 and thrilled to make varsity as a freshman. Coach Brennan was beloved by everyone in our town. He'd coached 3 state championship teams. Parents fought to get their daughters on his roster. The first time I met him, he shook my hand and smiled with too many teeth. Something in my stomach twisted. I couldn't explain it. He said all the right things and made all the right eye contact. But when he looked at my daughter, I felt my skin crawl. I mentioned it to my husband that night. He laughed and said I was being dramatic. The dismissals started immediately and never stopped. My mother said I was projecting my own issues onto innocent people. My sister said I watched too much Dateline. The other volleyball moms avoided me at tournaments after I asked if anyone else thought Coach Brennan stood too close to the girls during practice. One of them pulled me aside and told me I was going to ruin a good man's reputation with baseless accusations. I tried to talk to Lily about boundaries and warning signs. She rolled her eyes and said I was embarrassing her. My husband started sleeping in the guest room because he was tired of hearing about my paranoid theories. Everyone told me I was the problem. I started to believe them. But the gut feeling wouldn't go away. I started keeping notes in my phone every time something felt off. The way he texted the girls directly instead of through the team group chat. The private meetings in his office with the door closed. The rides home he offered when parents were running late. I documented everything for 4 months. My husband found the notes and said I needed professional help. He scheduled an appointment with a therapist for me. At the session, I showed the therapist my documentation. She looked at me with pity and asked if I'd considered that my obsessive monitoring might be damaging my relationship with my daughter. I walked out and sat in my car and cried until I couldn't breathe. I almost deleted everything that night. I should have trusted myself sooner. 3 weeks ago, I noticed Lily's behavior changing. She stopped eating dinner with us. She flinched when her phone buzzed. She quit the team without explanation and locked herself in her room every night. My husband said she was just being a typical teenager. My mother said to give her space. I waited until Lily was at school and did something I swore I'd never do. I went through her laptop. Her messages were deleted, but her email backup wasn't. I found a folder of screenshots she'd saved. Texts from Coach Brennan that made me physically sick. Messages that started friendly and escalated into something I couldn't unsee. Requests for photos, promises to keep secrets, threats about what would happen if she told anyone. I printed every single page. The confrontation happened faster than I expected. I drove straight to the police station with the printouts in my hands. The detective looked at the timestamps on the messages and his face went pale. He asked me to wait while he made some calls. An hour later, he came back and told me 3 other girls had come forward in the past year with similar complaints. All 3 cases were dismissed because the parents didn't believe their daughters. The investigations were closed due to lack of evidence. He asked if I could bring Lily in to give a statement. I drove home at 90 miles an hour and found her bedroom door locked. I found her on the floor holding more screenshots she'd been too afraid to show anyone. She'd been saving them for months, waiting for someone to believe her. Coach Brennan was arrested at practice the next day in front of the entire team. The detective told me my documentation corroborated patterns across multiple victims. My printed evidence established a timeline that connected all 4 cases. The other 3 girls' families called me that week. 2 of the mothers apologized for not believing their own daughters. One father thanked me through sobs for not giving up when everyone told me to stop. My husband moved back into our bedroom and held me while I shook. He said he was sorry for not trusting my instincts. My mother called and couldn't speak through her crying. She just kept saying she should have listened. Lily slept in my bed for 2 weeks straight, curled against me like she was 5 years old again. Coach Brennan was indicted on 12 counts across 4 victims. His computer contained over 2,000 images. My documentation journal was entered as prosecution evidence. 6 families have reached out since the news coverage started.